Back now, Africa is slowly heading towards an information and communications technology revolution, from connecting countries through internet and smartphones to the upgrading of machinery in all aspects of production to make our lives much easier. Now, the South African Communications Forum, in partnership with Vodacom, MTN and the Department of Telecommunications, brought together the greatest minds in ICT for this year's ICT Achievement Awards. And joining us in studio is Geek Culture Operations Officer Nghonyama, as well as General Manager Legong. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to both of you. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Tiani, tell us a bit about Geek Culture. What is that all about?
Okay, so Geek Culture is a platform for ICT students where they connect, learn, share, and put skills to real use. We do this by enabling and creating platforms for innovation and creativity. So throughout the country, we have built a community of 9,000 students that do some great stuff within the ICT field, promoting innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship.
So, look, I mean, developing nations are all beginning to make a shift into that more technological advanced space. I mean, the ICT Awards play quite a huge role in this, but do tell us why they are so important.
They are important because, I mean, ICT, the world is moving into digital.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that in South Africa we don't fall behind. So that's why we have platforms like Geek Culture that actually introduces technology and new technology tools to youngsters, even tertiary students. Even, I mean, we don't even forget the high scholars, because those are the foundation of our country. Those are the future leaders. So we need to make sure that they also fall into where we are heading off.
Absolutely. Tiani, tell us, who do these awards recognize? Only geeks? Cool geeks?
It recognizes all the super cool creative minds out there who are working every day to make this country be a better place. So we dedicate this award actually to obviously the entire team throughout the country, because we exist in Mpumalanga, Kimberley in the Northern Cape, and here in Gauteng. And there are a lot of young people who are doing all sorts of things, and we are telling them that you can be a geek, and that's okay.
Absolutely, it is fine to be a geek. I mean, Geek Culture recently won the local ICT Achievement Award in industrialization. Do tell us a bit more about this.
So this is actually something that we didn't expect. So, but then it means a lot to us, because it means the work that we do, it's actually recognized nationally. Yes.
So, Tiani?
This, like she said, it was a surprise. We never expected this. We're just surprised. Oh, we're nominated. This should be fun.
What were the awards for? Do tell us more about that.
Okay, so we're nominated for the ICT industrialization in the country. So meaning that we are playing a role in shaping the industry as we know it, as far as ICT is concerned.
So do tell us more. I mean, how else is Geek Culture aiding young minds to develop ICT in South Africa?
So within Geek Culture, we have different initiatives, like the one that I'm leading with is Raiketeta, means we are doing it for ourselves. It's a women-based initiative, which is under Geek Culture, where we empower women in ICT, even women who are not really into technology. We try to bring them on board and just to learn, because learning, that we need skills in South Africa. So yeah, and another initiative that we also run is the Geek Culture Work, which is for high scholars. They come in and join us during school holidays, where we introduce them to mobile development, web development, robotics, and even business enterprise.
Let's expand on that. I mean, there was a report that was actually released recently that indicated that there are too many students that are studying degrees and not enough specialized skills and labor. Is there a need for a new set of skills as we develop our ICT?
Yes, absolutely. I actually saw another report now that came out. The type of skills that would be needed within the next 5 years. That included, obviously, the ICT, included data science, which is quite exciting. So we do need to make everyone align within the digital transformation, because ICT is an enabler in each and every field, it seems. So as far as technology is concerned, it is changing every day. The future comes sooner than expected, and you need to get Africa on the map to make sure that it aligns with the digital revolution that the world is going into.
Absolutely, the digital space. I mean, how easily accessible is this, though? I mean, we're always hearing that people from rural areas struggle the worst when it comes to technology.
We're still struggling, I would say, in South Africa.
Yeah.
But that's why we need more platforms like these to actually reach out to a lot of people. So I'm so glad that Geek Culture now we are able to reach the Northern Cape. Even now we are reaching Mpumalanga. So we hopefully next year we'll reach even more provinces in South Africa. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about your awards. I see stuff here on the desk. Maybe I should have asked you about that when you told me that you won the award. Tian, explain to us what these prizes are.
Okay, so this is the good old trophy. It's always good. Mamelodi Sundowns got the trophy the other day. It was exciting.
And the star.
Yes. Then the certificate, obviously, that we can put nicely on the wall. But I'm glad that the award also included having to empower our developers. The Vodacom are providing some resources for our developers, which is quite exciting. So another way to accelerate innovation and technology.
Let's talk about that. I mean, how are you getting the education and outreach across? How are the relevant people getting the information to come and join?
So normally we use social media to even radio sometimes, and even we post everything on our website as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how people could actually get hold of the things that we do.
Now there's a constant talk that Africa needs to stop relying on Western and European investments and involvement. How can we then foster and encourage local development of technology solutions, Tian?
Okay, so firstly, I'm for the idea of 90% local apps.
Is that a reality, though?
It's getting there. So Africa is within what we call an app poverty line, meaning that our apps are not necessarily getting downloaded there. They are not being commercialized as fastly as our counterparts in the European countries. Why
though?
I think it starts with the concept of localization. We need to localize things.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate the efforts by organizations like the Innovation Hub, MLab Southern Africa, who we normally work with the most. So there are those platforms, but then people need to know more and make sure that we highlight these African stories. We get more young people from the very early age, like she mentioned with the VEC work program that we have. We need to get young people excited about the digital world because it's exciting. They must not be left behind. And they must strive to become more producers than consumers.
How do we make them more excited, though, Sino?
By getting them involved in everything that we do. Even if it means taking your niece or your nephew to work, just to see the kind of technology that the SABC has, that actually it opens their mind to another level.
Look, let's talk about developments. We know that yesterday, of course, the Northern Cape yesterday switched off analog to DTT, and this has been considered as a great achievement, but are we still quite far behind on the continent?
Very far.
Yeah, so I'm glad that almost after 9 years later, we have it finally switched on. So the Northern Cape is a very exciting province for us because we've been working there with the Department of Economic Development and Tourism in building the ICT capacity there, building innovation. So the switch-off started. The switch-on started around the SKA area, which is another great milestone for Africa. So that enables more excitement, and we need to make sure that we build more enlightenment onto our people.
Sina?
So, well, I saw it on the news, actually. Vintiani was tweeting about it. So I was so excited because I know we've been involved with them, since, especially since last year. So hearing about it, seeing it on TV, I was so excited.
Let's talk about where young people, the kind of people that can, get assistance from you guys or join up. What do they do, Tian?
Okay. So with what we do with Geek Culture, there's that thing of choosing the brightest student at school. So with Geek Culture, there's no such thing, because we've realized that even the first intake, when we started the Geek Culture Work, there were students that were struggling in school, but then when it came to practical stuff like building your own website or even building your own robot, they were excelling better than the other students that we always get them involved in such programs. So with Geek Culture, it's all about, are you willing to learn? That's the spirit that we want. Are you willing to learn? And that's where we start.
So just to add on what Sina has said, the world is now moving into people where people no longer cares about your CV, as a matter of fact. So just to give some stories on what she said, we do have young people who decided not to go to university after finishing high school. They decided that they want to hang around the Geek Culture platform, get their skills up, and now they are working in real. So
it's another option of formal learning.
Yes. So in the midst of fees must fall, we need to be active as as young people. Need to find alternative solutions towards fees must fall.
Let's talk about that. I mean, Tiani, does Geek Culture offer free services? How do you guys work? Do you have sponsors? Do you have supporters? How does one, I mean, where does one go? Do they just phone you guys and they rock up at your office? I mean, do tell me the whole 9 yards here. People want to join.
So none of our events are paid for. People always come and learn for free. Okay. Because we now live in the era where young people say, give me the information for free and I will read it or consume it. So we have built so much excitement about the programs that we run, such that stakeholders like the Innovation Hub, the City of Tshwane, MLab Southern Africa, and other major organizations around the country realize that there's potential here. Let's invest onto young people in building these platforms. Obviously, we would like to empower more young people within the programs. That's why next year we just chose on the map, there's this rural area. Let's go explore it. So you know about the bloodhound that's coming to the country, the world speed record holder in terms of land speed. So it's going to be tested here in South Africa in the Northern Cape, and we're excited to be involved in that. So that's another program that young people can be empowered. But the platform is there. If they have data, they can go to...
It's all about data.
Yes, they can go to future.geekculture.com. I'm sure we can provide details later. But they must go to future.geekculture.com or geekculture.com and join the platform, because we are still looking for the platform to grow and reach more people as much as possible.
All right. So your closing words, one more time, those details where people can reach you.
On social media, it's Geek Culture, even on Instagram. And
it is a digital initiative.
So on our website, the www.geekculture.com, that's where you find all the initiatives and all the projects that we've been doing and more information about Geek Culture.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully in the near future, you can bring some of your students, that have benefited, and we can actually probe them as to, what this initiative has done for them. But thank you so much for joining us. That was Geek Culture Operations Officer, Mr. Tiani Nghonyama, as well as General Manager Sina Legong, talking to us about a great initiative enhancing digital minds. And that is, of course, Geek Culture. We're going to take a